Hello, beautiful parents. It's Craig, the author of Painless Parenting and the author of painlessparenting.com. Today, we're going to talk about entitlement. It's an interesting phenomenon. I love to get into this subject, and I've dealt with entitlement with my own child. I'm a dad, and also I've been educating and leading and training children for the past 20 years, so I'm very familiar with the phenomenon. So I read an article I was scrolling through Yahoo News, and someone said, I took my entitled child to the Goodwill and made them shop at the Goodwill to teach them that money's not everything or something like that. And basically it's clickbait. It's like they titled it entitlement because they know that's a trigger for parents. And if you click on the article and you read all the comments, people are like, good for you, mom. Good for you. Yeah. Like it's this we against them mentality and the mother fighting the child and all that. That's really, really uncomfortable for me to see and actually I wrote a response to this article, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below to my Facebook page. But it's very upsetting for me because you punish a child. You're basically punishing a child for emergent behavior that's a result of our parenting. So the reason why our children are entitled is because we've entitled them. We've made them feel entitled. And by the way, entitlement as a child is a very natural feeling for them. They're entitled. They've never worked. They never worked. They didn't have to do anything to get food or get fed or get anything in life. Mommy and daddy does everything for them. So the natural instinct is to be entitled. It's not a bad thing. And until they start getting older, they don't know any better, and they just think that they should get $200 sneakers or they should have the best of everything because they've always gotten the best of everything. And that's okay for them to feel that way. So you got to let your children know that they're not wrong for feeling that way. That's really, really important. Doesn't mean they're going to get the $200 sneakers, but they're not wrong for feeling that way. But here's the deal. And you set a boundary. I love to buy you $200 sneakers. I personally can't afford that. I'll give you, what I can afford is $40. Here's $40. And if you work and save your money or whatever, you can put that $200 together and get yourself those nice sneakers. And actually, that's a really good lesson in that because, nobody gives me something for nothing. And as we get older, we don't get things in life for free. So we need to work for it. And this is a lesson for you. And I'm not mad at you. I'm not upset with you. And let's just figure out how you can get those sneakers and be responsible for yourself and grow up and have a good experience in the process. We need to talk to our children. Instead, the son wants the expensive clothes and the mother's like, you don't understand. You're not entitled to expensive clothes. And because you're acting this way, I'm going to give you $20 and I'm going to take you to the Goodwill and you're going to buy your school clothes there. That's very upsetting for a child. And that creates a wall that divides the parent and the child. So when the parent does want to have a heartfelt conversation with the child and educate the child about feeling entitled, the child's not listening because the last time the child felt entitled, they got punished for it. So if you have an entitled child, please understand this. It's a natural phenomenon. It's not a bad thing. When they're acting entitled, what they're really doing, they're crying out for leadership. They're crying out for somebody to set a boundary and educate them and raise them a little more beyond their current level of awareness and evolution in life. That's what they're really doing. Primarily, they're not trying to make trouble for you. Primarily, they're not trying to hurt you. It's a cry for help is how I see it. Now, you can take that cry for help. Initially, it hurts. You're like, oh, this entitled child, I want to strangle her. Or I want to strangle him. That's the knee-jerk reaction that comes from the amygdala, the prehistoric part of our brain that when we get triggered wants to fight or run away or hide. That's the initial reaction. Never, ever believe that initial reaction or act upon that initial reaction with your child because that's a super low level of interaction, and it's a crazy, nasty foundation for a relationship to be on. You're constantly in reaction with each other all the time. Super primitive, not a great way to go unless you want lots and lots of frustration in your life. So if your child's acting entitled, just understand this. It's part of life, and as parents, we actually created that. We created that response because we're the ones that gave them everything. We're the ones that did everything for them. And at some point we have to cut the umbilical cord, and we have to teach them how to be self-sufficient and self-reliant, or we'll end up with an entitled child that will never leave our house. They'll never leave home. They'll never learn how to take care of themselves. We'll hate them for it, and they'll hate us for it. What we really need to do is just create some healthy boundaries. And a healthy boundary is not now, not yet, or, I'll work with you on this. Like the sneaker example, I'll put $40 towards it. And what are some odd jobs around the house that you can do to earn the rest of the money you need to get those sneakers? Because nothing in life is free. Up until this point, there's been a lot of free stuff because you haven't been able to get stuff on your own. You've been too young, but now's a good time to start learning responsibility. And I'm right here with you. I'm your biggest cheerleader, and I'll be your coach because I love you, and I'm your dad, or I'm your mom. So what are some of the things that we can figure out on how to generate some extra money to where you can put together that $200 for sneakers? That kind of approach is really good leadership, and your child will absolutely love you for it. They may resist a little bit in the beginning because they're just being conditioned to get everything for free. That's okay. Survive the resistance, and stay strong and stay in love, and say, hey, I know this isn't comfortable. I know this isn't fun, and it's going to be okay. We'll work through this. But the entitlement thing, it's an interesting phenomenon. Let's not demonize our children like this woman did on the internet. And what's really sad is that everybody jumped in to comment her, to tell her how great she is for taking a stand against her child's entitlement, as if she has no responsibility in that behavior. And that's pretty sad, because she's getting positive reinforcement that what she did was good, which I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there's a much better way to deal with an entitled child than the way she did it. And to post that on social media, and to have a video of her son walking through the Goodwill with clothes, like, it's as if she wanted to hurt him and she wanted to embarrass him. And it's so sad. It's like he's going to hate her guts for that. And when it comes time for her to have a heartfelt conversation with her son about drugs, or about personal responsibility, or about self-reliance, he's not going to have any of it. And why? Why is he acting that way? That's his version of punishing her because she's been punishing him. So the whole punishing thing really doesn't work. Anyways, that's my take on entitlement. Have a fantastic day. And I'll put the links to the article and my response in the description box below. If you have any struggles or you need any support, you'd like me to make a video on a specific subject, comment in the section below and I'll see what I can do. Okay, take care. Bye.